Hey everyone. So I'm gonna not gonna come up this time. So this is going to be um starting off my Love is Blind Mexico reviews. Um and I'm only gonna be doing episodes 1 and 2 this episode. So episode 1 starts off with the experiment begins. Um and so we're getting, kind of everything's going at the speed of light. In the first episode, first two, I should say, really. Um, and we first get introduced, or the first person I think we really um, kind of get any background on with, with his name and age and job title and all that is Fernando Hernandez, who's 27. Um, Now, when he starts talking, I'm kind of like my spidey senses kind of go off a little bit. I don't know why, but I'm gonna keep my eyes on him for the rest of the season. He didn't seem to be doing too much for the first two episodes. Um, as of right now, I have not seen episodes 3 and 4, so I do not know if that has changed, but or if it will change after episode 4. But for right now, something seems a little bit off with him. Anyway, um, uh, Chema, who's 36, is an entrepreneur and poker player. He has a daughter, 3 years, and he really kind of described himself as someone who goes based off of the physical first, which I don't honestly see anything wrong with that, because most people who are not asexual tend to go off the physical first, and then if they like what they see, they will proceed to want to get to know the person as time goes on. So I don't really, see anything with what he said is wrong. And maybe one can say that he isn't, if that's what he really believes, maybe he shouldn't be on the show, because if going off the physical first is something that you need to happen, that you know needs to happen, maybe you should be on the show. But I don't know, maybe he was just saying that just to say that. And he was burned in the past with um the mother of his daughter. I don't know, but he has a daughter. um then we kind of see a little bit of Sylvia as well. She's a curvy model. That's what the description of it says, that she's a curvy model. Um, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about that title. Um, I'm just gonna leave that there. But we also have Gerardo, who is, I believe, says musician. I'm not sure if that means he's like, he plays the guitar, plays the drums, is a singer, does it all. I don't know, but that's what it says for him. And he has a hard time choosing between Mafer and Fernanda. Um, I did know that Fernanda is an architect. I don't know why I'm putting these people's jobs on there. Like, I don't know, but um, so the first little strike that we see come through is, I believe her name is pronounced Rocio. Um, if that is not correct, somebody please tell me in the comments. I did not mean to butcher her name if that is not correct. But she tells Fernando that Arais had said after one of her dates with Fernando that her and Fernando would get married. And now he's annoyed because she he thinks that she said that to make other women back off from him. And you know, honestly, I truly thought that, that whole situation was misconstrued and a whole big misunderstanding, because here I was thinking, you know, um maybe in her mind what she was thinking was, I feel like I will get married to this man, and not that I will get married to him because he actually proposed. And um later he confronts her about it, and she basically said what I was thinking was, I I just said I just said that because I was thinking in my head that I feel like I'm going to marry you and all that. And honestly, she was putting the cart before the horse, and a lot of people tend to do that. So it's not like, you know, people don't do that. Um, and the thing is that Rocio made the wrong assumption. And I honestly, I see where she was going with that assumption. I understand it. I can understand her doing that. The thing is, she ran straight to Fernando and told him this without verifying the facts, though. And that's where things come into play. It's like they both have a perception of what they either said or heard, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just how you go about that information is where the issue lies. And there, I'm just gonna leave it at that, because that's just, yeah, that whole situation could have been truly avoided if um little seal didn't just run with that information. So Gerardo decides to say goodbye to Mafer and pick Fernanda. But as he's doing that, as he is about to do that, he receives a blanket with her scent or perfume on it in an original song that she had written. So now he can't choose. So, and I don't know why he decides to do it. Decides to tell both women this, but he decides to tell both women that he was initially going to pick Fernanda with, and he was going to let Mafer down. Again, I don't know why in the hell he would say that to both of them, but here we are. And then Fernanda gives him one of her plants. So, eventually he then decides to tell Mafer that he's going to choose to continue the experiment with Fernanda. And Mafer is sad and upset because when she was singing her song to him, she basically wanted, she basically told him that she didn't want him to stick around if he didn't plan to, and not say I love you and all that. And she feels like that's what he decided to do. Which, I mean, if that's her feelings, that's her feelings. I'm just glad that, she didn't start hurling insults or anything like that. So that's the best outcome, in my opinion. So Gerardo proposes to Fernanda, and she said yes. So they end up at the end of the episode gearing up to meet each other. We don't actually see that at the end of the episode, but that's what happens. That's the last thing we see of them, is them gearing up to see each other. Irais confronts Lucio and distances herself from her because she felt like Lucio wasn't being fair by running to Fernando, and not speaking to her first. So it looks like Chema has Alejandra as number one, whereas Silva used to be at that place, and he, seems to go back and forth between who is in number one and who doesn't, even in episode 2. So now I'm going to usher into episode 2, where it's titled Love and Betrayal. Gerardo and Fernanda meet. And I was wondering, why exactly do they have these men get back down on one knee and show them have the guy show the women the ring, and kind of ask them, will you marry me again? I'm like, because I was like, why exactly do we need to do this all over again? We just did this. So I guess I understand, because I'm thinking back to that one season of Love is Blind Brazil, where that plus sized woman and that man met at the reveal, because they got engaged and they met in the reveal. And so after they went their separate ways and went back behind the screens, he's like, I don't think I can do this. And basically reneged on wanting to be engaged with her. And we've kind of seen people who don't necessarily want to stick it out to the end with someone, based off of the fact that they don't like the guy or like the person physically. And I'm going back to Love is Blind Sweden, where Katya and Christopher, Katya didn't find Christopher attractive. So, and it was pretty obvious that she didn't. So, I mean, we're going to leave that where that is. So I guess I understand it and all that. So Fernando then goes on a date with Karen, and we find out that Karen, who is 27, found out that her boyfriend is gay through text messages that he had sent to another man. I was like, damn, like, can't catch no breaks, huh? She has an 11-year-old daughter from her previous marriage. And that's also what I wanted to point out, is that I noticed that quite a few people have children on this episode, on this season, on this version. Because, typically, as far as I know, I haven't watched season 6 of the US version, so I don't know if this is true or not on that one. But pretty much seasons 1 through 5 of the US version, I don't remember any of the people having children previously on like before they went on this experiment. I don't remember that at all. I know they've had kids, and I think, or I know there have been couples who have had kids after doing the experiment, whether in the couple that they, or in the marriage that they have from the show, or just with someone else that was not part of the show. But they didn't have kids with someone prior to the show, told people about it and all that. I don't remember that. I know on Brazil, they've, even from season one, they've had people on who have had kids prior to coming on to the show, and up until the most recent season 4. And I don't believe anyone in Sweden had any kids prior. I don't remember. And I'm pretty sure nobody in the Japanese version did either. I've only watched the Japanese version, or the Japanese and the Swedish version, once. The Japanese version being at least 2 years ago, so I can't really say for sure if that is true or not. But I just don't remember. So, but yeah, like I'm more surprised, I guess, that the Latin versions of this show have more people who have had children prior to come on to the show, and or have been married, because Karen has been married, at least been married before. Sorry. Saul has a 14-year-old daughter. And Chema has a daughter as well. I don't remember how old she is, but yeah, there's a lot of people who have children on the show. I'm honestly a little bit surprised, because I don't know, maybe it's not as taboo there. But yeah, I'm surprised, quite honestly. Chema and Sylvia seem to bond over the fact. I don't actually remember if Chema said that his father or his grandfather died of cancer. I think he said his father did. And I believe Sylvia said that her father died of cancer. So they bond over that. And then Fernando and Karen share that they have experienced cheating at the hands of their loved ones. Fernando's father cheated on his mother, and as we know, Karen's ex-boyfriend had cheated on her with a man. There's a lot of trauma bonding going on in those two scenes. I'm like, can we kind of not do that? I mean, please. Now, Irais is a very interesting person, because here we see her talking with a man named Renee. And I don't remember how old he is, but I do remember that he is a doctor. So she's telling him that her brother has cerebral atrophy, I believe she said. And I believe she said basically that is like having the mind of a child, despite the fact that he's currently 25. And she says that's probably one of the reasons why she doesn't want to have kids. So we see her have this conversation with Renee. And then that's the only time we ever see her talking with him, except for at the end. And I am just like, she has the audacity, the gumption, and the unmitigated gall to try to have this conversation, have this little date with him, and then dropped his ass for 2 days to go chasing after Fernando. And then when Fernando drops her, she then goes running back to Renee. Like, she didn't just kick his ass to the fucking curb, or kick him to the island that oh, I am blanking on his name, but the dude in from Forrest Gump who started in Castaway, she kicked Renee to that island that dude was on in Castaway, and then she wants to double back. You know what? Like, what? This reminds me of that of season 2 of Love Is Blonde USA, where Jared had 2 women that he was choosing between, Ayana and Mallory. Now, he realized that Mallory was his number one. And so what he decides to do is he decides to throw this hypothetical at her, at Mallory. If you guys didn't watch that episode, but so he throws out this hypothetical to Mallory about, what if I were to propose to you right now? And he asked, what would you say? She's like, hell to the nah. And so he goes boohoo crying and screaming into a towel, and then proceeds to go pick Ayana as second choice. Now, that was a time to be alive, because that was straight devil work if I've ever seen it. And so I'm like, I mean, this wasn't as bad, but I mean, it's like a less filling version of that, if you want to do that, because didn't have the dramatics of it all, because Jared did that whole dramatics of literally bawling like a baby and screaming into a towel after Mallory had dumped him. So I mean, but that's literally what that whole scene between Irais, sorry, I don't know why I keep wanting to put a name on it or put an A on it at the front. Sorry. But that whole scene between Irais and Renee just reminded me, at the end, it just reminded me of that whole situation. Like I said, I don't know what happens at the beginning of season or episode 3 in seeing if, he decides to take her back. I hope he don't, because that would be just a Ayana, Jared, and Mallory triangle all over again. So anyway, Saul has the freaking audacity. Talk about having the audacity, gumption, unmitigated gall. If that were a person, Saul would be the poster child for that, because here you go saying the reason why I want to drop Karen in my rankings is because of the fact that her sexuality is a problem, and he doesn't want to bring that into his life, and they don't have anything in common. I call fucking bullshit on that. I call straight bullshit on that, because there is no way that you can say, literally not even 5 or 10 minutes beforehand, that the best sexual fantasy that you had actually fulfilled is having a threesome. But then when Karen asks you if you would be okay if you two were in a relationship and she wanted a threesome, but she wanted a threesome with her, Saul, and another man, and you say no, be cool with that, how does that work? Didn't you just say that you wanted, that your best sexual fantasy that you fulfilled is you having a fucking threesome. Make that make some sense, please. Make that make some sense, because that don't make no dang on sense. That makes no dang on sense to me. Make it make some sense, please. I beg. I freaking beg of you. Make it make some sense, because that doesn't make any sense. I'm calling you out. And if you happen to see this, Saul, and you want to clarify this, reach out to me, whether in the comments or whatever. If you find me on IG, because I have an IG. So if you have an IG and you see this and you want to reach out to me on IG or whatever, and you want to clear some shit up, please feel free. I will let you clear it up. But I call bullshit on that whole thing. I call bullshit. And so now we go to Alejandra and Chema talking about her wanting to pursue her master's degree. And she says that she wants to do her master's degree in Italy. She asks him if he would be okay with that. Basically being in a long distance relationship for any amount of time. He says, I would rather not do that. I don't know if he told this to her, but in his solo confessional, he said that the reason I don't want to do that is because I have been through a long distance relationship before, and it did not work out, and it ended badly. So I understood that, because if you have been through this before, it ended terribly, then you would be once bitten, twice shy about it. So I understand. But I also understand that she should find a man who's willing to be supportive of her wanting to go do this. And I mean, I commend Chema for wanting to actually not be in her way of wanting to pursue that, because if that's her dream to do, if that is one of her dreams, is to pursue a master's specifically in Italy, he knows himself and how he is set up, and where he knows he can't handle that, no matter if it's only for a short time. And even if it is very near in the future and only lasts for like a year to 2 years, he knows how he is. He does not want to, he can't deal with a long distance relationship. And I mean, she shouldn't have to give up her dream because he doesn't want to do that, because both feelings are valid. And I don't think she should have to give that up just because she really wants him. I mean, there will be a man who will be okay with doing that for you, like being in a long distance relationship with you, so you can pursue that. So I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Saul then proposes to Letty, and she says yes. Letty and Saul meet. Fernando proposes to Karen. She says yes, and then they meet. So now we have, at the end of episode 2, we have 3 couples left to, where we have 3 couples together now, which again are Fernando and Karen, Saul and Letty. and then Gerardo and Fernanda. So, like I said, I haven't watched episodes 3 and 4 yet. I will most likely watch those tomorrow and then get those up either tomorrow night or Saturday at the latest. But for right now, that is all I have for you guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and also share with anyone who is interested in the show. And I will see you guys in the next few days.